Hello everybody! In this episode of Chill and Cozy Gaming News, I'll reveal a game sequel that was just announced, we'll gossip about farm folks changing the name of their game and announcing their Kickstarter date, I'll share 3 awesome new releases that you can play right now, one of which is my current top contender for Game of the Year. 4 of our favorite cozy games just released some seriously impressive spring updates. I'll show you my favorite bargains in the Steam Spring Sale, and we'll take a peek at 2 cute games that premiere on Steam later this week. So grab a snack and your cat or dog, and relax with me as we catch up on the latest in chill and cozy games. Fresh off the press is a new game announcement, Everdream Village, the sequel to Everdream Valley, which I played a ton of back in 2023. Everdream Village is set 10 years after your Everdream Valley adventure, and in addition to updated graphics, has more depth to the gameplay as well. You'll set sail to explore islands, forge relationships with villagers who now have moods and a variety of interactions that change based upon the village you've created, and there's a hint at potential romance. You'll have a home to decorate and can tinker with genetics to breed your farm animals to have specific traits, with hundreds of possible combinations. There's also terraforming to create hills and rivers to customize your landscape. That's a cool feature. The developers noted that they still have one more update coming for Everdream Valley, and then will be fully focused on Everdream Village, which plans to launch into early access on Steam later this year and port to consoles upon full release. But here are 3 new releases you can play right now, beginning with an early March release that is a contender for my 2025 Game of the Year. I know that's a big statement, but it's how I feel. I called it last winter when Palworld released, and I'm feeling quite similarly about 2 Point Museum. I'm enjoying it so much, and it's so polished that it no doubt will be in my top 10 games for 2025, and currently is sitting at number 1. 2 Point Museum is a management game on crack that will hook you from the start with its whimsical exhibits and character interactions. The sarcastic announcer who rips your museum curation apart, the expeditions you send your experts on to bring back new exhibits for the museum, the decorating and designing and redesigning, hiring and firing of workers to balance the budget, challenges and quests, and then you'll move to another museum and then back again for more quests in your old museums. It's beautiful and funny, challenging yet forgiving, and it is obvious that the team at 2 Point Studios used everything they learned from 2 Point Hospital and 2 Point Campus to create this masterpiece. I truly never really enjoyed management sims until 2 Point Museum. They've set the bar pretty darn high. A second new release is Wanderstop, which is a narrative adventure about running a quirky tea shop that forces former fighter Alta to step outside her comfort zone and perhaps slow down and learn more about her true self. You'll grow and harvest your tea ingredients and brew them in a peculiar device, decorate your tea shop, and absorb the stories of the thirsty travelers who stop by for refreshment. I haven't played this one yet, though from the reviews, Wanderstop offers exceptional visuals but doesn't play like most other cozy games, causing it to fall short for some players but wholly resonate with others who can appreciate the feelings the game is trying to provoke with its unusual style. Wanderstop offers about a dozen hours of thought-provoking gameplay and is available on Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation. Third is Longvinter, which has been one of my favorite games for the past 3 years that it was in early access, but it just had its 1.0 release at the end of February. I've poured over 300 hours into Longvinter and can best describe it as the cuteness of Animal Crossing combined with the saltiness of Rust or the camaraderie and hunting of Palia. The key is selecting the proper server when you play. My favorite is PvE, where other players can't eliminate you or take your items, but you can live in harmony with complete strangers and easily make friends thanks to a very cute in-game chat system. Pick a plot of land, build your house, forage and loot and craft everything you need for your adventures, and there are so many islands to explore. All the while, real players are all around you, but can't hurt you. Now, if you play on the PvP servers, expect to be shot on the spot and have your loot stolen and base raided. I grew tired of this pretty quickly, but it's an option. You can also play on your own server, but I highly recommend the public PvE servers for the most satisfying experience. I also recommend watching my I played 20 hours of Longvinter video, which is one of my favorite videos I've ever made. It will make you want to buy the game. Up next are brand new spring updates to 4 of your favorite cozy games, plus some pretty big news about a popular upcoming open world title. Many of you are familiar with the upcoming Farm Folks game for its cartoonish Fortnite-style graphics and crazy combination of gameplay mechanics like farming, raising animals, automating farm production, creative building, NPCs to befriend and romance, ghost hunting, and optional PvP with a bit of futuristic time travel. But the developers just dropped a video on March 14th with a bit of a bombshell. They changed the game's name and finally have a Kickstarter date. Farm Folks began as a game focused on farming, and as the scope of the project expanded astronomically, the developers felt the name no longer properly reflected the game. So it has been renamed Autonomica. Honestly, I'm going to have to warm up to this, as I really liked the alliteration and cute connotation that the name Farm Folks conjured. I understand why they changed it, but I'm probably going to keep calling it Farm Folks. And my brain keeps confusing it with the game Astronomica, so it's going to take a while to get the hang of calling it Autonomica. I've seen a lot of comments of people not really digging the new name and some loving the change. But ultimately, it's the content of the game that really matters. And more importantly, we now know that April 15th is the date the game formerly known as Farm Folks will be launching their Kickstarter campaign. There will be an option for alpha access, which is set to begin a few months after the campaign, so possibly late summer. A couple other exciting game features that were shared in the devlog are that the PvP, where players and their structures are teleported to the future to battle other players, will be an optional feature, and I'm really glad of this. There is also no forced sleep mechanic and no loading screens within its vast open world. I have April 15th marked on my calendar and will be backing Autonomica on Kickstarter. Farm Folks. Equally exciting, though not quite as dramatic, is the Fields of Mistria update number 2, which I'd argue is the game's biggest and best update yet. If you didn't watch my overview video, here's the TLDR. Our Dragon Boy Calderas finally revealed his human form. He's dateable, has a really sweet pimped out temple in the new Deep Woods area, and you can fast travel to and from his bedroom from your farm. This is a wholesome game, right? I love it. And then we have a new Winter Animal Festival with awesome prizes and game-changing sprinkler and auto-petter statues that, when powered by essence stones, which you can craft in the new stone refinery, and there's a new teleport location here as well, will water your crops and help raise your animal's heart levels automatically. It's a real time saver. Elsie will gossip with you daily to give you gift hints for your favorite villagers, and you can now adjust the game's time speed within the settings, though don't expect much as it's a very, very subtle extension. But combined with the 2 new teleport locations and rideable mount that we were given last update, it's a definite improvement. You'll also find new mine levels, a new Dragon's Breath spell, the ability to have a pet cat or dog that will fetch resources for you, and you can buy more farmland too. It's a massive update. Go-Go Town just released their spring cleaning update with tons of new features, but I'll highlight my favorites. My top new game mechanic is the Pocket Whip, where you now will have the option to store the vehicle you're riding in your magic pocket and pop it back out whenever you need wheels to get somewhere faster. This is just like in Fields of Mistria, and I love having my coveted rainbow unicorn cycle tucked away and ready to use. It's so much fun. Additionally, there is now a 360-degree rotational camera, which you'll have to toggle on in the options menu, and this is great for getting a more thorough look around your town. The apartments now have colored lights to indicate their vacancy. The amber lights flash when there's a vacancy, and green lights mean a full apartment building. And speaking of light, your character now has a glowing aura to help light dim areas like caves or in the woods. Notice the light shining on the trees as my character walks close? There's also a new lobster pot you can add to your fishing area, and if you open your phone, you now have a brand new info app that gives you all the essential data about your town, such as where your workers are, shop inventory, and much more. And in your music app, you can now choose between 3 different music playlists: chill lo-fi, high energy pop, and all the music. And you can create a playlist out of your favorite tracks too. This is just the tip of the iceberg though, as I counted around 75 changes in the Go Town Spring Update, so check it out. And for those of you Aloft players, the Critters and Wonderlands update that released last week brings some much requested new life with the addition of lots of small creatures swarming the Sky Islands. You'll now find bees, butterflies, adorable happy lizards, floating frogs, and bats in varying colors and quality, which you can pick up with the new bug net or with feed and bring them home with you and use them to help balance the island ecosystems. Landing pads were also introduced to give animals that you find a safe landing back on your island. It's basically a teleportation device. So you can no longer simply send animals home unless you have first unlocked the landing pad by finding it at a knowledge stone and then building one on your island. Not sure how I feel about this change. There are also 2 new Wonder Islands that offer rare treasure and ruins to explore, and it's now easier to share your home island with other players, with the home kite having a personal or shared setting, so you no longer have to edit permissions to share your home with friends who join. And while we're talking about sharing your home, my favorite dark and cozy survival game just added marriage in last week's update. Mirthwood now has the option to propose to any romanceable NPC regardless of gender, and your spouse will move to your farm and help with chores. But don't just select your mate based on how hot they look in tights or the size of their sword. Check their personality traits and skills, which will determine what they'll help with and how they prefer to interact. For those with fear of commitment, you can now simply hire NPCs to help you on the farm or collect resources, and the cost of hiring them is affected by your friendship level. So I guess it's friends with benefits? And we will also now have the ability to layer armor, so you can combine cute clothing with protective gear for double the protection. I feel like protection is even more important with the addition of romance, am I right? Mirthwood is currently 20% off during the big spring Steam sale, which ends on March 20th. So if you haven't already snagged a new game or two, now is the time. I bought my husband and son's copies of Planet Crafter for our next family game night. It's a whopping 42% off now. I couldn't resist. But I'm also contemplating Echoes of the Plum Grove for $12. Planet Coaster 2 is finally on sale, though it's still $40. And then there's Project Zomboid, which I've been considering buying because many of you have told me how customizable the settings are, and it's 45% off. Many of the games I'm mentioning today are included in this sale, so take a look and let me know what fun new games you buy. Let's wrap up this episode with 2 new chill and cozy games that are releasing later this week. Mudborne is a cozy management game where you solve puzzles, play mini games, and experiment with genetics to discover new frog breeds for your barren pond. You can even try some genetic modification to create weird new frog species, use the frogs to power your machines, and ultimately restore your pond's ecosystem and discover what caused their disappearance in the first place. Mudborne has Steam Deck support and is set to release on March 20th. And on the following day, on March 21st, the adorable and cozy plant-themed decorating game Urban Jungle releases on Steam. Urban Jungle already has over 100,000 Steam wishlists, and it's no wonder because this art style is something else. It's super charming, and decorating the rooms by placing plants in locations with proper light and hydration is satisfying and unlocks new plants. So it's part puzzle game as well as chill decorating, and if it's priced right, I'll be snagging this one for sure, purely for the aesthetics and graphics. So there you have it, news and release dates for 11 cute and relaxing games. The announcement of Everdream Village was a pleasant surprise for fans of Everdream Valley. Farm folks renamed themselves to Autonomica and revealed their April 15th Kickstarter date. 3 new cozy games just launched, including one of my favorite early access games that is now in full release, and another brand new game that will no doubt be one of my top games of 2025. 4 of the hottest chill sim and survival games released spring updates chocked full of fresh new content. The big Steam Spring Sale has some amazing deals through March 20th, and Mudborne and Urban Jungle are set to release on Steam later this week. There simply aren't enough hours in the day to play all these new games and updates. It's quite overwhelming. Personally, I'm still fully absorbed in 2 Point Museum and Longvinter, but have played a bit of the Fields of Mistria, Aloft, and Go-Go Town updates. And I want to try Urban Jungle later this week. But what games and updates are you most excited about, and what do you think about the big Farm Folks name change and announcement of the Everdream Valley sequel? Have any of you even played Everdream Valley? Let me know in the comments below, and if you don't want to miss out on the latest in chill and cozy games, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.